First show right here on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day, anywhere. I am Omo Hefe Peace Osemere, welcoming you to Eagles Outlook, where we talk politics and current affairs. Now, today on the show, we have something quite interesting to talk about. We're going to be assessing the weight of Nnaji's certificate forgery scandal. All right, we've seen different, calls, of course, from different quarters. We've seen some NGOs, seeking a ban on Nnaji from holding public office, and even the likes of, Peter Obi has also called on, the electoral umpire also to do thorough scrutiny, before people are allowed to, vie for any public, elective, position. In the case of Nnaji, he was appointed a minister, under the President Bola Tinubu-led administration, and so many questions actually comes to mind with the revelation or the expose published by the Premium Times newspaper, where we've been made to understand that. He actually forged his certificate. So, on the show this morning, I am being joined by a Premium Times investigative journalist, Chinagorom Ugu, and also a National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, High Chief Peter Ame. He doubles as an anti corruption activist, and together we're going to be assessing the weight of Nnaji's certificate forgery scandal. All right, they're joining us live via Zoom this morning. Are you there? Hi, Chief Peter Ame. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. All right. We're trying to connect or link up with, my guest on the show this morning. And just, whilst we're at it, I'll just quickly give a quick background to, what this conversation is going to be all about. Now, the topic of discussion today actually revolves around certificate forgery, in Nigeria, and the need for public, office holders to be thoroughly scrutinized, thorough background search, to be conducted before they are allowed to even, occupy these offices. I mean, we saw the publication, made by Premium Times newspaper, and it somewhat threw Nigerians into a frenzy as to the level of impunity, and corruption embedded in our system. But let's focus on the NGOs now seeking a ban on Nnaji from holding public office, especially after, he resigned. You must know, dear listener, that certificate forgery is a serious offense that can undermine trust in public institutions. And if found guilty, it could have significant implications for, Nnaji's career and the public's, perception of government, officials. Now, there are critical concerns and, salient questions that comes to mind, when you look at this, topic, and also the expectations, of Nigerians as far as this revelation is concerned, the place of transparency, the place of accountability, the place of, bringing on board very realistic reforms, the place of integrity and also justice. At the end of the day, our fingers are crossed because we've also seen Nnaji's spokesperson come out to say that, oh, this is somewhat of a witch hunt, from Nnaji's opponent of some sort, just to sabotage his effort and what have you. At the same time, we've also seen former Vice President Atiku Abubakar calling for, the prosecution of Uche Nnaji, and he shouldn't have been allowed to resign, even though some are saying that he resigned honorably and that was a step in the right direction. But of course, thorough investigation should still be carried out. I mean, if he's found wanting, then he should be made to, face the wrath of the law, right? We're still trying to link up with my guests who are joining us live via, Zoom this morning to discuss this. Gentlemen, are you there? Can you hear me? Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Are you there? All right, we'll take a quick break now and see how we can fix things. And when we return, the conversation will begin in earnest. Do join us again. All right, Ugu, are you there? Can you hear me? Good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I've been on since past about.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. China Gorom Ugu is a Premium Times investigative journalist. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, China Gorom, you work with the Premium Times, as an investigative journalist, and quite frankly, this publication by Premium Times actually threw social media, not just social media, but Nigerians into a frenzy. I mean, truckload of questions have been asked ever since this publication was made. But for starters, I'd like to ask, is it possible for you to talk us through the inspiration behind this investigation and how long it took Premium Times to unravel the truth behind Nnaji's, academic qualifications?
Okay. I hope that you can hear me because your audio is a bit poor.
Yeah, I can hear
But
you.
then, hello.
Yes, I can hear you loudly and clearly.
Okay. So, just like I've repeatedly said, the inspiration uh, is actually based on Premium Times ideology. The what guides our goal as a paper. We believe in holding institutions and individuals accountable in order to achieve a better society, particularly to strengthen democracy in Nigeria. So the investigation took us about 2 years to unravel. That's how we're able to do that, because we had to look into the relevant records, documents, and also speak with those who are familiar with the former ministers' graduation, the purported graduation, the schoolmates, and all that. So that's that.
Okay, so let me also ask you, Ugu, if you mind. Um, the Nnaji himself, Uche Nnaji, I mean, he actually is of the opinion that this is some sort of a witch hunt from, his political opponent. Is it possible that there is an undertone to this publication just to sabotage, him and also to dent his image over the years, or this is just a clear case of impunity and corruption embedded in our system?
Okay, we are not surprised, by his, comments or claim, because that's usually the claim made by, people whose records or whose, bad image, is exposed. So whenever people get exposed this way, they usually resort to this kind of claims. However, this is not. There is no link to political witch hunts. Premium Times, has continuously shown itself to be an accountability journalism investigative platform. So this is not the first time we are doing this kind of investigation. We carried out a similar investigation in 2018, where it exposed the then finance minister, Kemi Adeosun, who ultimately resigned based on the outcome of the investigation that she forged her NYC certificate at the time. So, I mean, it is not just about Uche Nnaji. There is no, Premium Times is not a paper that can be driven by political. We are not affiliated to any political party or any political interest. We are just an independent newspaper seeking to hold everyone, the institutions and governments, accountable.
Okay, so when you say that this investigation took you roughly 2 years to unravel or, to finally publish, Just wondering, maybe there were some challenges or bottlenecks, that made it to, linger for, such a long time. Could you please talk us through some of the challenges that Premium Times, encountered along the line in a bid to unravel this truth?
Yes, of course, you will understand that in this kind of investigation, uh, there will be a lot of, obstacles to our efforts. So we encountered a number of them. We had even to get the 10-page document submitted to Nigerian SNEP was also difficult. We received promises, about many senators refused to comply. Apparently, when they saw maybe when they understood that we are investigating the now former minister, so that's that. So we also try to. If you read the report, you would see that we had made several efforts to get the response from the University of Nigeria, unsuccessful efforts, and so because we did not succeed, it really derailed our investigation. However, when we learned of the change of the leadership in the university, we also tried our luck and we succeeded. But while we were still working on getting response from various institutions, including ISC authorities and UNN, we also tried to subject some of the documents we have into forensic analysis. And so beyond the delayed response and all of that from various persons and authorities, we also took a lot of time in order to be sure that we carry out our own analysis of those documents, those certificates, purported certificates that the then minister submitted to the National Assembly. So we had to take our time because we believe that the investigation will be very, very important in redefining what, just like you have seen the impact of the investigation.
Okay, so when you see some of these stakeholders directly involved, I mean, you're trying to put facts together just to arrive, at a certain conclusion, and they are a bit skeptical. They are reluctant, to share their own truth with you. What does that tell you about the system we are operating? I mean, from your wealth of experience as an investigative journalist.
Of course, there is always, even our efforts to get response from University of Nigeria, we understood that there were some powerful hands trying to frustrate our investigation. And of course, those were people who probably are close to him, close to the then minister, or maybe any way. So it could be political associates who were trying to frustrate our investigation. So what it tells is a society, that celebrates impunity, a society that celebrates corruption and all of that. And that's not good for the Nigerian society. It's not good for our progress. It's not good for our democracy as a nation.
And is it possible that we still have, some public office holders who may have forged, credentials in the system? And do you think that there is some sort of superior or very formidable force behind them, and this system is going to continue unabated?
Of course, we know that it's not possible. That there will be Nnaji will be the only person in Nigeria that forged his certificate. So we believe that there could be other persons, and we are hoping that this recent investigation will trigger more whistleblowers from giving us hints, so that we can, work on a similar investigation to uncover such forgery in Nigerian institutions.
All right. Thank you very much. You did mention that you'd be quite busy this morning, so we'll just have you hold your thought right here. Chinagorom Ugo is a Premium Times investigative journalist. Thank you so much for talking to us on the show this morning.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. All right, we're still assessing the weight of Nnaji's certificate forgery scandal. And Chinagorom Ugu is an investigative journalist with Premium Times newspaper. Recall that Premium Times actually, was the platform that published this revelation or this investigation, which was actually conducted or carried out, for roughly 2 years, as we've been made to understand. Now, Nigerians are calling on authorities to prosecute the former Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Nnaji, especially after he was exposed, by Premium Times investigation for certificate forgery. And the 2-year investigation published by Premium Times on Saturday last week revealed that Nnaji forged his degree and NYC certificates, which he submitted to President Bola Tinubu and the Nigerian Senate during his ministerial confirmation in 2023. Now, the politician rather submitted the discredited certificates to the Senate and other Nigerian authorities as part of his credentials to support his ministerial appointment in 2023. But now he's resigned from his position as minister. I mean, that was on Tuesday, about 3 days after this Premium Times, published the investigation. And the former minister could actually face up to 21 years imprisonment or more. A Premium Times review of various Nigerian laws, showed. I mean, there is something the law is actually saying with regards to certificate forgery, all right? And some Nigerians are saying that beyond him resigning honorably, a lot more needs to be done. He should be prosecuted if, found wanting, all right? But you heard the last part of the conversation I just had with the Premium Times investigative journalist, where I asked him that, is it possible that we still have, other public office holders within the system who have also presented forged,
certificates,
especially before they assumed, duty as public office holders? And he's saying that it's very possible. It's not just the case of Nnaji, all right? But of course, he's assuring that as a reputable media organization that is very intentional about, investigative, journalism in Nigeria, they will not stop, but it would continue, especially when it comes to blowing the whistle. Now, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, I would be linking up with an anti-corruption activist who is also the National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, High Chief Peter Ahmed, so we can, bring another perspective to the conversation. But in the meantime, you can leave a message or a voice note and tell us what you make of this. Beyond Nnaji resigning, what more do you think should be done? And how weighty is this certificate forgery scandal to you? Do join us again.
For so long, you've been silenced. We have just found your voice. Take it, use it.
You assess Nigerians before we become politicians or before we become member of any political party. The kind of things that happen in Nigeria, this is so noxious that if God looks down.
10 a.m. Eagles 102.3 FM. Your radio experience you can count on. From Milky Way to Earth. Uja. Instagram at Uja.
Good morning to you. Hi, Chief. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right. We sincerely appreciate you creating, time out of your busy, schedule this morning to speak to this issue. Before I linked up with you, Chief Peter Ahmed, I had, the honor of speaking with an investigative application last year had forged. How exactly did you receive this news of certificate forgery from, a cabinet, member under this administration, putting into consideration that the President Tinubu-led administration had assured.
I didn't hear the question well, but I'll answer from the perspective of the part that I heard.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
So the fact remains that President Tinubu forgery under our law, under our criminal act, is a criminal act, embracing the act of our law by Nnaji. It is clear that after resignation, investigation should have commenced officially by the government. The government would deter people from continue to undermining our laws. But because this is a political elitist cycle where people who are in the actual maybe steal an apple because it's hungry and will probably go for 40 years imprisonment instead of the person who have done this kind of criminal activities because he belongs to a particular class. So we are running a government for the elite, by the elite, and for the elite. So it is disheartening what is happening, and this would think they are interested in fighting corruption. Because if they are interested in fighting corruption, this is a litmus test where they would have shown nation.
Right.
But she is having to take a bow and go. This encourage. What does you think this portends for young Nigerians who are struggling every day to undergo the rigorous sacrifices by studying so hard to pass exam? So it means that we are trying to say other people can do this. As soon as they get to this level, they will not have any consequences for the action. When you neglect, when you allow this to continue becoming a culture in our criminal justice system, then you will continue to encourage such act of dishonesty in our governance system.
All right. I mean, remarkably, this trend has been going on for some time now in the history of Nigerian, you honorably take a bow and you leave office. And it's more like it all ends there. But looking at this expose, looking at this, revelation by the Premium Times, newspaper, and it actually took roughly 2 years to unravel. That was really such a long time. If you can hear me, I actually posed the question to the investigative journalist, with Premium Times. I asked him why it took so long to unravel this truth. And according to him, some stakeholders were not willing, to assist the investigative team or reporter with the necessary fact. It's a pointer to so many things, High Chief. The absence of transparency, the corruption that is embedded in our system, and the collaboration in terms of, even enhancing corruption and impunity, gross impunity in the system. But let me ask you this. I mean, looking at what has happened, Nnaji has honorably, taken a bow and is actually left office. What next?
I've told you that there's a collaborative effort at the topmost level of governance in Nigeria to undermine our constitution, to organize our processes and make sure that they continue to have this corrupt system that has continued to undermine the progress and development of this country. Because if a man can forge a corruption, forge his certificate solid, that means the man can do worse in office. Look at the level it takes for a man at that age to do what he has done. For me to critically tell you that those agencies that refuse to cooperate with Premium Times, I think the whole Nigerians should now start to do what is done in the international community, especially developed countries, where citizens will contribute money for journalists and not subscribe to their media unit and contribute even if it's a 10 naira, 5 naira, because the kind of work that Premium Times have done, they also did a work against the corruption in our electoral process for 2023 election in Rivers State. They have done several other work. They were the one that also reviewed the Kemi issue. So they have done a lot of work that I think that by now, security agencies and other critical stakeholders in the process of making sure that corruption is wiped out for Nigeria should be able to comment and collaborate with them effectively. But there's a collective sense of silence and a collective sense to from these people who are in office to work against the best interest of our country. So we must have the first state of the realm that has the capacity to do what is right. So this take a bow and go culture for those who go ahead to forge certificate will really damage and create a stain on our constitutional democracy and our governance system. So it is good that we need to see government that will be bold enough to stand and make sure that political consideration does not supersede the essence of obeying the rules, laws, and regulations that govern criminal justice system in Nigeria. So we must start as governor for probably 4 years or 8 years, holding with a first certificate. So we must embrace it. We must put into INEC a structure that certificate verification process becomes necessary, so that we don't continue to elect those who forge their way to government. And then the issue with, again, is that before being nominated as minister, the documents were presented to the DSS for screening.
Absolutely.
Service. What was the work of State Security Service? If they could present documents against Erufai, report against Erufai that stopped him, and the other lady from Kano that stopped both of them from this, it's when it comes to political interference. Duties or only that they become very an independent, a very effective security system within the DSS intelligence that must continue to work their paymaster in the best interest of our own nation, because they are the team that screened that certificate by now should have been under investigation and should have been thoroughly, also sanctioned for not doing a proper job. And that is not happening to them. It's also not happening to Nnaji. So Nigeria has become a crime scene for those in power who will do anything at all cost, and there's no consequences for their action. But every citizen in Nigeria treatment under the law.
Okay. Chief Peter, is it possible that we still have, more public office holders in the system with, cases of certificate forgery? And secondly, your submission now about
possible that we still have what?
Do you think that we still have a crop of, public office holders or crop of public office holders in the system with forged, fake certificates?
Without thorough investigation, now we will know that. And the DSS that has already screened this one. So a lot of people would have scaled through. It is only individual effort, independent individual effort, that has reviewed some of the forgeries that were seen so far. None of them were reviewed by government agencies.
Okay.
Whether it's the executive panel, whether it's the one of Salisu Buhari, whether it's the one of Nnaji today, none of them was reviewed by security agency. They are all the screening authority when it comes to Senate. So the Senate too must continue to empower a sergeant at arms. Senate have a security unit in there. Just like when you go to American Capitol Hill, they have their own security architecture placed there. Senate has its own security architecture. They might not be carrying arms. The sergeant at arms department. They should also be able to, what is there to increase their capacity to carry out such investigation. It's not just by passing out. What is take a bar at home? What is the essence of the screening? You screen. You ask a person a question. Did you attend certain school? Say yes. Did you graduate? Say yes. What year? You say 1988. You say, oh, did you attend this program? Say yes. So you accepted the information being given out to you without any investigation. If you look at what the screening process for the Senate in the America, where we copy our federative democracy form, you will find out that they will ask questions and tell you they have investigated it. So the second, the president, this does not require arms. Does it require for them to carry guns? It is just to increase the capacity of the sergeant at hand the unit of the National Assembly to be able to write letters to universities, primary schools, and secondary schools of intending ministers to be screened, so that they can have proper details of whether this in true status, whether these persons who have come before them presenting documents actually attended this university. It is a buffer arrangement to add what the DSS is doing, add what the police will do, and add what the independent National Assembly will do to be able to, see whether the report is being given to them could be collaborated, in a positive light. So these are the challenges, these are the technicalities that we must improve, because we could not say, and there's nobody today who will badge that there are no more people in the National Assembly.
Credentials. That is the case. What does that tell you in terms of the fight against corruption, especially under this administration? Yes, I'm asking that. Let us assume that the reason why Nnaji has been in office, I mean, from 2023 up until this moment, despite being screened by the Senate and the DSS, is as a result of an oversight. Maybe it actually skipped the DSS attention to thoroughly, scrutinize his credentials. If that is the case, will it be intelligent to say that the DSS has, compromised? And what does that portend for the fight against corruption in Nigeria, especially when it comes to, screening nominees for government, positions?
To assess it as an oversight, the occurrence of what has happened in the past, and then no one was caught in the web of the DSS investigation, has shown that there's a lot level of collusion within the teams that are actually sent out to carry out this investigation, or that level, or the fact that some of them have, it might not be the full gamut of the DSS, but it could be maybe their staff, and that is the reason why these staff should be investigated and thoroughly sanctioned. Maybe their staff who have to carry this investigation about the certificate and other screening activities of nominated ministers have compromised. But definitely, I believe there's a level of compromise somewhere, because the resources at the disposal of the DSS does not require for a DSS man to travel from Abuja to Suka, for instance, to investigate the certificate, because they have a unit in Enugu State that would have just done that by telephone call, dispatch email, and that would have been concluded effectively without government spending a dime, apart from local runnings in the state. So there's a level of, there must be some level of in-house cleaning for the DSS, because we depend on them for our security clearance and improvement on the integrity of those who govern at the affairs of our country. So if the people come to sneak through the security, I call it the full gamut of the security system that is put in place within the DSS, then it leaves more to be desired, or it brings a sour taste in our mouth. So it is clear that we must, any president that is there, must allow the DSS to function independently and effectively. And when you find out that they are not functioning well, there must be a need to rejig it and retrain them, and then even carry some people as and treat them for their misdeed against the state. Because any action to compromise such things, imagine a man who have not graduated in anything technology, who have not sat in class, who did not go to school, is manning a 21st century ministry that's supposed to change the way how we see technology, to mainstream technology into governance system in Nigeria, into public service, and into the society, so that Nigeria can be create a Silicon Valley that will help to develop our economy and generate more foreign direct investment. So it is critically clear that the harm being done by those who do this screening, or those who refuse to do this screening, is obviously more than being estimated. I think people are not taking it seriously. It's a serious criminal issue, and we should not condone it.
All right. Hi, Chief Peter Ahmed. Thank you so much for your time on the show this morning. I'll just, let you go for now because of your busy, schedule. Thank you so much for taking our time to talk to us regardless. All right. Well, that was High Chief Peter Ahmed, the National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, and also an anti-corruption activist right here in Nigeria. We have been assessing the weight of Uche Nnaji's certificate forgery scandal. We'll take a quick break now to go pay some bills. When we come back, we'll take calls from you on the other side of the radio. Remember that you can leave a voice note or a message on the WhatsApp portal. Some of you have already done that. When we return from the break, we'll take those messages and also get to hear from you. What you have to say with regards to this very topical issue. Just stay with us.
Any motor where you dey drive, you need confirm protection, no. For your engine, no. Make a mobile, make it mobile, oh. Make it mobile, yeah. Anywhere you dey, your motor deserve to be number one, yo. Make it mobile, oh. Make it mobile, yeah. You carry the go, make everybody join me, say. Make it mobile.
Make you go with the best.
Make it mobile.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience that you can count on. Call us now on 090-735-30044 or 090-8766-8888 to share your thoughts and leave a message or a voice note on the WhatsApp portal. And the WhatsApp portal number is 090-9705-44 and 50. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, FA.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, you are doing a great job. Hundu taking me from Nasarawa State.
Right.
I greet your guest this morning. Yes.
Thank you.
I want to quickly say that concerning the question you asked your guest, of course, when you dig deep, there will be many other politicians, who are also, in the same situation. But having said that, the Constitution already prescribes the kind of, qualification that even a president will have at least a school cert. But I don't know why some politicians would prefer to go and forge your certificate. Even if you have HND, it means you are good to go. You must not have all the qualifications because after all, those who have all these qualifications have a degree certificate. One must you go ahead and forge it. But having said that, FA, in the past, many governors have been accused of the same of this man. He has spent money. He has spent billions of naira to dig this thing out. Even the governor of Enugu State has been accused of the same thing. Even the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was accused of not having certificate, private school certificate, but they all did not resign. Even former governors, former governors of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, all of them has been accused, but did not resign. This governor allegedly has used billions of naira to bring this thing out. But I want to advise politicians that even if you don't have a degree certificate, you have other ones, you are good to go. So you must not go and forge it. Also, yes. Even some of them are forging their age. You can see somebody that looks like 90 years, but he will tell you that he is 50 years. It is also against the law. Thank you very much.
All right, Turkinby, thank you very much for your contribution. And as to whether or not this is a political witch hunt from the governor of Enugu State is what we really cannot ascertain right now. The most important thing is Nnaji has actually taken a bow, which some Nigerians have tagged, an honorable decision. But according to him, it's not, an admission of guilt. All right. He just thinks that it's just a noble thing to do. He would rather step aside for thorough investigation to be carried out. But this investigation took premium times, 2 years to, put together. What does that tell you, right? What exactly does that tell you? Let's take more calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Okay, Omoefe, good morning and well done job.
Thank you very much. Triple D from Waru.
Thank you very much, Omo. My name is Triple D from Waru.
Right.
Omoefe, sometimes it baffles me that we are operating on a totally faulty system and we expect to see a good result. How, where, and when? If we don't have a system that will checkmate properly before somebody occupy a sensitive position in that magnitude, how are we going to get it right? Okay, now, Omoefe, let me just shock you small. Have you ever watched how our ministers are and our senators are screening these ministers? Have you ever taken your time to ask yourself question the way they are screening these people? Some of them, they will come, they will take them, there is one language they are using, they say go. And I wonder, okay, Omoefe, the same people they are screening these people, how are you sure that they don't have the same faulty documents. Because who screened them before they occupy their office? And they are screening someone that look at the outcome. Almost, let me still shock you. Anybody in this country, let me tell you, if you move against government, that is when the case file will be coming against you. But once you align with them, we will not be hearing all these things. But you know that we are already close to get it right by the grace of God. Until we correct the system, if not, okay, we'll get it right. Have a nice day. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Triple D. And 09073530044 or 09087668888 are the numbers to call this morning to be part of the conversation right here. And we've also seen the likes of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar coming out to say that Uche Nnaji should be prosecuted. They are demanding, prosecution of Uche Nnaji. And on the other hand, we've seen some non-governmental organizations come out to say that he should be banned from, occupying any public, office or position. But beyond that, how do we sanitize the system? A more realistic and decisive approach to sanitizing the system, would also be a way forward, don't you think? So keep the calls coming in. Hello and good morning to you.
Good morning, Adeze.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from? Thank
Felix
you.
from Lambata.
All right, Felix, good to have you. Please go
I
ahead.
greet our guests too.
Right.
For to talk very, very precise analysis of the situation we have on ground. Almost,
yes.
You see, this culture of take a bow and go, I don't know where we got it from. And like somebody rightly pointed out, I want their guests to also say something about this basic qualification of school start and primary school, first school living certificate issue. If we want to review those qualifications, I think it's high time we review them and make it according to the capacity of the office that these politicians are occupying. Because a situation where somebody will have school start that is even doubtful, or first school living that is even doubtful, and will go ahead to buy university degree, fulcrum of degree to add to whatever he has. And at the end of the day, you give the government agencies that are responsible for investigation of these things too much work. And where they are also, they investigate these things and they are also make their recommendations. Whoever is appointing them has a discretionary power to either adhere to their result of any investigation or do his own. The president can decide to appoint whoever he wants to appoint, not minding the report of the CSS on the person's qualification, if it is politically viable to him. The political consideration sometimes overrides the qualification of the individual that is appointed to this office. And when they get to the office, imagine let's assume that this certificate is fake because man has still accepted that he has fake certificate. You only step down. If I'm wrong, correct me. You only step down, and still subject to proper investigation and conclusive result of what he has and what he does not have.
Okay.
So in a situation like that, I don't know where we are heading to, because like you have just rightly pointed out, no government agency has indicted anybody of certificate forgery. It's all individual efforts. Political consideration always come to play.
All right.
There are many people in government, I can bet you, who have fake certificates and forged certificates, and their productivity very low. They cannot meet up.
All right.
Given to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Felix, for your contribution. Chimezie has been trying to, put a call across. You should call back, Chimezie, if it's fine. All right. Hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm
Yes, good to have you.
Chimezie calling from Asokoro.
All right. Please, you have 1 minute, 30 seconds because of time.
Okay.
Please. Yes.
Good day, Mr. Nnaji resigned. The people that cleared him should equally be traced out, dismissed, or retired. Even if they have retired, they should be sacked because this is betrayal. I remember calling on this platform to tell you what my brother said, that he was never their team. And I'm justified. Thank you for the exposure. God bless you all.
Thank you, Chimezie. And let's take a look at the contributions we have on the WhatsApp portal. I see this message here. This is from Onowu Agbalusia Ngene. He says, "Good morning, Eagles FM. My take on Mr. Uchenna Nnaji's certificate forgery issue is this. There are many individuals today who currently hold various positions under this administration of President Tinubu and are allegedly involved in certificate forgery. Even Tinubu himself was once accused, of certificate forgery, both from secondary school. From secondary school, he claimed to have graduated from and the Chicago University he said he attended. Yet people seem uninterested simply because it involves the president. Meanwhile, the DSS and INEC claim to have screened these individuals before their appointment. One then wonders what kind of screening is being conducted by the DSS, the National Assembly, and INEC. If the government fails to properly investigate and remove anyone involved in certificate forgery, no matter their position or influence, then this fraudulent practice will continue to thrive. In the end, such individuals will always find their way into power because we appear to have a weak and corrupt system of governance in Nigeria." All right, thank you very much for that message, Onowu Uchenna. And Samuel from Kuje says, "Good morning again. Thank you very much." And of course, to the guest, of a truth, forgery in Nigeria is one of the bacteria, that has been eating up Nigerian system. And the way and manner the people involved are being handled makes it look, like normal way of life. Until we have a kind of punishment for this kind of wicked act, this thing called forgery will not stop. There are still other public office holders that their hands are not clean. Taking a bow to go is not the remedy. If you catch a thief without proper punishment, others will not learn any lesson at all. Thank you and have a good and wonderful Friday. Thank you very much, Samia from Kuje. I'm afraid we cannot take, more calls, but what does the Nigerian law, say about, forgery? Forgery is outlawed in Nigeria's Criminal Code Act, which prescribes various jail terms for offenders upon conviction, depending on the nature of forgery. And according to Section 465 of the Act, a person who makes a false document or writing, knowing it to be false and with intent that it may in any way be used or acted upon as genuine, whether in the state or elsewhere, to the prejudice of any person or with intent that any person may, in the belief that it is genuine, be induced to do or refrain from doing any act, whether in the state or elsewhere, is set to forge the document or writing. Now, Section 467 of the Act states that forgery is a felony that attracts a 3-year jail term upon conviction. Well, our fingers are crossed. Let's see new developments, that would emanate from this whole certificate forgery scandal of Uche Nnaji. I'd like to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for being part of the show this morning. And most importantly, the views expressed by